Welcome back. So that was the source inquiry of sensation, the source inquiry of sensation that we have done in the last session. Yes, we can take up questions pertaining to the discussed topic. Yes, ma'am.
Sir, actually, I wanted to talk about food indulgences that you were talking in the previous slide.
Yes.
Yeah, so I wanted to bring in my understanding of it. That like normally body's natural tendency is like when we have some requirement, based on that we'll get attracted to some kind of food. Like if mango is there, and I naturally get attracted to mango. But what happens that if you keep eating mangoes for it is my understanding, so 10 days, 12 days, there's a day when I don't feel like eating mango, I feel like eating watermelon.
Yeah, that's
So
yeah.
So because now maybe whatever I wanted from mango I have already got, and I want something else now. So when it comes the idea of stimulated food comes, like we mixed some different flavors, and then we make it palatable.
Yes.
Like it is not natural, it is unnatural. So what happens that today I want to eat watermelon, but because some combinations of food is presented in front of me, and that idea of some taste comes, and then we get salivation. So why we get more indulged, in my opinion, is because our body was requiring watermelon, but we are indulging in something, we are eating something else which our body is not requiring. So even if we go on eating and the stomach is full also, we go on eating it because the satiation is not there.
Yes.
So that is why we get too much indulged, because a lot of times I have noticed that I have some idea of some food, some taste, and I start eating it, but even in the end of it also I don't feel satiated, because somehow that was not our requirement only. So that is why this indulgence happens. We keep on eating, but we're not getting that satiation at all, because body is not requiring it.
So body requires the quality, not the quality food means the natural quality food. If we do not provide the body the natural quality, then it will remain unsatiated, and that will lead towards the indulgences in some or other low quality modified food. And we actually being a foodie like in the after grown up, the food attraction gets diminished naturally, but we end up calling ourselves foodie at the age of 50 also. Many times you see people they claim themselves foodie, actually they are unsatiated, that's why they are still attracted too much towards food. And that lead to the bulging of the stomach, because stomach has got elasticity, and the bulging of the stomach happens because body tries to compensate the quality with the quantity. When the quality is not received, that time body start gathering more quantity to compensate it, and that ends up bulging up of the stomach.
But that compensation never happens. Yeah. That is why this indulgence goes on. Yeah.
Yes. Right. Thanks for bringing this. So any other point, any other question from anyone?
Yes.
Xenia, yeah. Bring your question.
Can you go?
Xenia, your maybe the earplug got jacked out. We are not able to hear you. Xenia, we cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now? Hello.
Yes, now.
Hello.
Now.
Okay.
Now, yeah.
Sorry. Can you go on the slide in which you began with the whole presentation about the mind, like five senses and formation of mind?
Yes.
Okay, so this is it looks like a very ideal scenario, like, you know, when you just receive everything from the five senses and the body sensation and then perception, and then the awareness is created and then we project it. Wanted to know, like, you know, when we are growing up, there are a lot of traumas that we undergo as children, as adolescents. And no, those traumas can be small, they can be big. It really depends on the individual, how they are perceiving that experience. A person can take an abusive verbal abuse in a very, very high, in a very strong, intense way. They can perceive it in a very strong, intense way. So, so what happens is, like, because of these small traumas, like, I think naturally our body becomes more defensive, like more on the defense side. Like the sixth sense, we can say, like, starts to emerge, and like we start almost perceiving any threat in our environment. And so I don't know, I just wanted to kind of discuss about that, because I don't think there's anybody who has not faced these kind of traumas, and, you know, these kind of really, like, discrimination, abuse, so many things that make us very, it naturally makes us start believing in, like, I don't even want to call it imagination, because it has happened before. So so it's not exactly imagination, because it is very real, it has happened before, so it can happen later on also. So our body kind of, I don't know, kind of, I feel like it tries to take care of us by making us more defensive. And of course, it becomes too much. It becomes too much, and the anxiety goes really high. But I feel that it is more of a positive. It's our body trying to, like, make us survive and, like, help us through situations. I don't know. I don't know if I make sense, but just wanted
Yeah,
to
it
discuss.
makes sense. It makes sense. It makes sense. Thanks for bringing this to all of us notice. So here we need to identify the next loop as well. So next loop as well, where from the imagination and assumption, we start identifying some body sensation. So that idealistic aspect is that only coming from light, sound, smell, taste, and touch, and the mind is getting formed. That's what is the mindfulness as it is proposed. But as a matter of fact, all of us underwent with the experience or experiences of body sensation from ideas. And those ideas are at the childhood mostly accopied. Accopied means whatever the surrounding proposes, we end up copying that. And that's the acceptance, that becomes an acceptance of the other's idea. And over time, that becomes our own ideas. That becomes our own ideas because of that loop that has been created within us due to the copy. So, for example, if you are slapped, then it is, as far as the physical confrontation is concerned, you got hurt at the skin level. So at this level, there is a trauma, if we can call it a trauma. So physical trauma, and sensation wise, you got a pain, and that pain is going to go off after some time, because we know the self-healing capability of the body. But the moment that particular slap is identified as an insult, so there is a point of occurrence single, the slap, and then slap means the physical pain, and then the identification that slap as an insult. So insult is an idea, and this event is proposed as an insult, and we end up accepting it because our immediate surrounding is identifying it as an insult. So I also end up identifying that as an insult, because I do not have that kind of neural maturation as yet. I'm a child and I don't have that inquiry built up yet to decipher that. So I end up accepting this definition being proposed to me. And that becomes my own definition and my own belief. Now, as we grow up, we build our neural capability, neural maturation. And with the neural maturation, we need to revisit, if we are an inquiring person and we understand the validity and the rationality and the necessity of inquiry, then we will revisit all of our beliefs and its root. And we'll end up dissolving those beliefs that one slap cannot be considered as an insult. For that matter, insult itself, the concept of insult itself is an idea. If somebody is abusing, yeah, Zinia, please.
No, sorry, I was just saying yes.
Right. So if somebody is not slapping, suppose, but abusing, and abusing with a low pitch, abusing means there could be a sound that can hit physical wise, but somebody is abusing very soft voice, in very soft voice. So it is not physically hurting. It is not physically hurting. If somebody is shouting, then it is a physical hurt through the eardrum. But if softly you are being abused, then if we define that as my insult, then it is an idea that I am buying. It is a disturbance of that individual who led himself or herself using that abusive language, so-called. There is no change that can occur unless I define it and start believing this as insult. Can you understand this, Vinay?
Yes, I can.
So what happens here? So when we identify the necessity of inquiry, then we need to revisit all these episodes, which are the causes of my suffering. First of all, the first step is the identification of the importance of inquiry in life of Homo sapiens. We are inquiry-driven species. If we stop inquiry, then we actually compromise with our own freedom. So to continue with the freedom, natural freedom, we need to continue with the inquiry. That's the primary foremost identification. And this is not a belief. Many a time what happens, it is argued that this proposal itself could be a belief. This is not a belief. You can definitely question this. So this is a fact identification. Many a time fact identification looks like a belief. But till the time you are in inquiry mode, no matter how it is being termed by others, you can identify that this is not a belief. This is, I'm still inquiring this, and it is a fact identification in the process, like the definition of food. Definition of the food through observation, through physical observation and our experience, we define the food as a fact identification. That cannot be a belief. That cannot be a belief. For example, see, we just in the last session, what we did was this particular, what was that? Yes, this one. So what we did, this was a proposal. This is a proposal out of the fact identification. Now, while reading, we realize that this unreal word is unneeded. So we are open to the modification. So till the time you are open to the modification, it is not a belief. So this is just one example that these all proposals that we are bringing in are just fact identification, and we are very much open to the changes. Whatever the rationally identification next time comes, and those who are there, I think Rohit, Beenal, these people, and Dr. Kaur, they are there in this journey since long. It is all together we are exploring, and we are bringing change in these fact identification. So coming back to our discussion, that till the time we are open to this identification of the importance of inquiry, we have the capability to dissolve all sorts of beliefs that we suffered in the past. Yeah, any other questions, Zini? Or
No, that's all.
if you want to
So
add something, yeah.
we can always we can always work our way through the beliefs and try to through inquiry.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
it's hard. It's a lot of hard work.
Yeah, initially it is because of the lot of conditioning that we underwent.
Yeah.
But going forward, it's very relaxing because you are burdenless now. Now it is hard because we are already depleted with the belief and the loops. A lot of loops are there inside us of the beliefs that we need to work on initially. But the more we go deeper and dissolve the beliefs within, then it becomes very relaxing journey.
Yes, in my experience, I felt that I was able to identify many of my faulty beliefs that
Yeah,
I have
beliefs,
had.
we need not to add that adjective. Beliefs are faulty
Okay.
always.
Okay, so specifically those that that still affect me and my interactions with other people and my life, I was able to identify many of them. But I feel that more awareness that is coming, it feels more burdensome. Like it feels like I feel bad that I'm not able to, like, even though I have the knowledge that it is this belief that is causing the issue, or that it's something I need to undo, but in spite of knowing that belief and also understanding the problem with it, it becomes difficult to like change the pattern or
Dissolve it.
the
Yes, yes, yes.
tendency. Yeah.
So this can be actually executed through an ongoing inquiry. So what happens is, anything which is bothering you, if you can observe it in terms of your inner processing. The inner processing means the combination of sensation and the perception. So what is the exact perception towards that belief? Now, whenever you identify a perception which is concluded, which is a rigid thing, then definitely through questioning, you can make it flexible. Make it flexible slowly and gradually, then it gets dissolved. That's the process of inquiry. The bringing flexibility and bringing movement, rather. It's a stagnated perception which gets converted into belief. Are you able to identify this?
Yes.
So
Thank
this
you.
we can take up one-on-one also with specific identification. Yeah. Thank you, Zinia. Any other question from anyone?
Sir,
Yeah,
I want to add something here. So, as she said, that it is hard work, but I feel it is not hard work. It is just that we still have our older conditioning with us, and we are trying to inquire and get rid of it. Now we have become available to that conditioning. We are able to see that conditioning. That is why we feel it as a hard work. But the inquiry is never a hard work.
Yeah, so hard work, when we identify inquiry as a hard work, that means we have still depletion of vitality inside.
Right.
At that very point, the first step that we can take up is changing our food, because that would actually conserve a lot of vitality at the physical level and the physiological level. Then we get overall conservation of vitality, which lead us to support our inquiry further.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Right. Any other question? Taran, are you able to map with the pace?
It's a little effort for me, but yes, I'm trying. It is
right. Any question emerging, flowering in?
Not right.
Right. Thank you. What about Preeti?
I don't have any question.
Mm-hmm.
I'm following it.
Right. Thank you. Kaushik, Are you with the flow? Any question that is coming up
Follow
or
me.
shareable proposal, shareable
No,
observation?
no, sir.
Okay.
In the
Okay.
process, sir.
Okay. Great. Right, guys. So let's proceed. Yeah. So Rashi wants to say
Yeah,
something.
I just
Yes,
wanted to share, like last time, I think when we met, I was like into chilies. I used to love chilies. And I remember you telling that we will serve you a full plate of chilies for lunch. And so from that time and now I have stopped buying chilies. That's the,
Okay.
change that has come in, but it has come very naturally.
Okay.
Because I have started listening to my body. So I'm not sure if it is a mind driven call, but it's a bodily, the body is communicating me that there is a burning sensation and it is discomfort. It's a, it's not comfortable for me. And that is why I am actually not able to consume it. So
Yes.
I'm just, saying that this is coming from a rational perception.
Identification. Yeah,
Yes,
it's a fact
identification.
identification.
It's
Yeah.
a fact and this I have lived through. So this is like a perfect example.
Yeah. Same.
Wanted to share.
I can relate to actually. Yesterday, I think I was sharing like 7 years
Hmm.
back. I used to relish the same dishes served in the parties, but
Yeah.
now I'm always in tears. So the senses are getting resensitized.
Yes.
Yeah. So in this path, actually, what happens many times we lead into some kind of irrational excitements that this is a kind of wow identification, and that fact identification becomes our belief, and we get into the process of correcting others. That's an alarm I would like to raise here, that let's consider bringing a change within us first before correcting others. And correcting others is always possible if we call it as a correction. Whenever the other is interested, we cannot initiate correction for others anytime. So let's not get into a belief and start proposing these all proposals. Yes, Rohit.
Yeah, so I just wanted to share that one thing I realized about food also over the years is, and particularly when I started doing my inquiry, is that I used to really go berserk during parties or during these big dinners and banquets and these buffet dinners, and I used to like look for desserts, look for all variety, and so I used to go crazy. And in fact, my wife used to tease me like, "You look like you just come here for food." So over the period, I realized that it was not really the addiction of food, but I think what I was really my tendency or what my belief was that if I do not have that special thing that has been prepared, maybe I'll be missing out on some kind of pleasure that others will enjoy. So it was more in a competition with them rather than actually the liking for that food in particular. So
So those are the ideas. Now we can identify, stipulating it, the bits and pieces of ideas of our executions, behind our executions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Preeti, please come in.
This just came to my mind right now, like, how what got shared about the chilies and everything. So I have
those
been
who are questioning if they have the provision of video, then they can switch on the video during the question if it's feasible. Yeah, Preeti, please go on.
So
Sorry to interrupt.
it's okay. So I have been also noticing a lot of changes in my acceptance or tolerance towards certain things. Now, my question is, I've always been raised in a mindset that you should be able to digest, or the fact that my body is reacting. Like if I'm eating chips or anything that has too much of oil, suddenly like it's almost like eating yam without tamarind. It just like catches the throat. So I am getting this backlash that maybe your body is becoming weaker and intolerant, and you should become more tolerant. So I don't know how to hold this conversation. So that it just came up in my mind. I thought I should share.
No, no. Can you come again? I would like to comprehend it more. What is the exact observation? Yeah.
So there are several observations, physiological observations. The food that I used to eat before, now if I'm eating, I'm not very tolerant towards it.
Yes, yes. The body is rejecting. The voice of the organism is saying that it is not for you. Yeah. So these are the sensitization. Sensitization. You are bringing your senses back, which had got desensitized earlier.
Okay.
Because of the repeated stimulation and suppression, our natural voice of the organism gets desensitized. Now, in the path of the reversal or sinking back to the nature, these get resensitized, and healing crisis kind of experiences these are, you know.
Okay.
Healing crisis is a way to throw the toxin and protect your homeostasis, bringing back the homeostasis, similar kind of responses. So pleasure and pains are the protectors of homeostasis, right?
Yeah.
So that way, these discomforts that you are sensing are signs of resensitization.
So I understand that, and I was very like okay with that. But when I would get questions like, because there is intolerance, it would be immediately associated with weakness of the body. And people would tell me that you are becoming intolerant, you're becoming weak, you should be able to eat and digest everything.
Yeah. So an inquiring person always will validate any proposal comes in without blindly accepting it. An inquiring person will always validate the rationality. So if it is being proposed, how deeply it is processed and proposed, that has to be observed. So these all things are kind of shallow proposals that we get to know. These are shallow proposals. So I often take this example. Suppose somebody says that you are looking so weak, you maintain so healthy lifestyle, but you are weak, kind of proposals. You'll get to know, because initially there will be a lot of body weight that will be shred off. So all these things will come. So if you respond back without demeaning internally with that person, that your dress looks very good, from where you purchased it, without answering back, they will actually start discussing that topic, and that shows that they are not interested in your health and kind of point they raised. That's a shallow proposal that was coming in. So if you just shift the focus without demeaning their concern or their state of being, shift the focus to something else. For example, their dress. It's a beautiful dress, from where you purchase, without answering the topic of the health. If you respond that way, they will start discussing about the dress only. Most of the cases. You identify
that doesn't happen all the time. I
have
also experienced.
Right. I was coming to that. So this may not happen many times also. Most of the times it will happen. But for few people, this will not happen. They will talk about the dress. They will come back again to the health. I was asking about the health. What about that? That time you are in a journey of inquiry. Then you can reconfirm that, are you really interested? Then let's spend 1 hour on it. Let's discuss on it. Go deeper into this aspect. If you are interested, then we have a group. Those who brainstorm all together, you are invited to that group. And let's inquire together to find out the truth. Somewhat, not completely. So, are you getting the point?
That, I'm getting the point, and also what you just said, no, that my senses which were desensitized or numbed are now becoming more alive. I think that has stuck with me. That I find a very rational reason.
Yes. Right. So we have around 5 minutes. We can have a small introduction of the next topic. Then we'll break for breakfast or lunch and rest. Right. Rational understanding. Rational understanding is the second factor, which is quite similar to the mindfulness going forward. But in terms of execution, we may come across with different terminologies. But the framework is quite similar. the formation of vicious cycle and all those will look similar. Now, what is rational understanding? Rational understanding is again not a proposal of belief or opinions. It is just identifying the facts, the fact identification, which may be termed as understanding nature and its tendencies, the programmatic aspect of the nature. Now, when we talk about the programmatic aspect of nature, we find that in nature there are three layers. One is the truth, which is a perennial, the holistic, the larger chunk of existence. Now, the reality is our own interpretation of a partial truth. Reality is our own individualized, customized interpretation of a partial truth. And rationality is perception of reality. Rationality is a perception of reality that we build up within through our reasoning. We accept or not, we always support the reason. We customize reasons many a time, which may go away from the truth. But definitely, we all are programmed to support the reason. Now, corresponding to the layers in the nature, truth, reality, and rationality, we have three layers in life, which are physical, physiological, and psychological. Physical, this external layer, which confront with the truth, and physical existences, which are natural, unmodified physical existence, that cannot be denied as truth. Those are confirmed truth. The formless existence in nature is always doubtable. You can raise a doubt whether those are truth or not. But these forms, the physical forms, are confirmed truth. Unmodified physical form. Physiology is the domain of reality, where we build up our realities. And psychology is the domain of rationality. We build up our perception through the psychological interpretations. So, as far as the executions are concerned, in respect to these three layers of physical, physiological, and psychological are action, the physical layer, sensation, the physiological layer, perception, the psychological layer. So if we bring in the nature and life understanding, then the action is something which can be commonly mechanically received physically. Commonly mechanically received physically. And sensation are something which is individually, chemically sensed physiologically. And perception, something which is individually, neurally perceived psychologically. So these are the understandings of these three layers of existence and the executions of those existence. So three layers of existence of an organism are mechanical, chemical, and neural. In other words, physical, physiological, and psychological. Physical, physiological, and psychological, PPP. And executions in accordance to the layers of existence are action, sensation, perception. So we'll continue our discussion post-lunch, post having some rest, and we'll repeat these all discussion a bit, and we'll continue our exploration of rational understanding and further the aspects of mind. Thank you. We'll resume at 3:30 sharp.
Thank you, Kalyan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Thank you.